My books are so mad at me right now. I've dropped them so many times. Hey y'all, I'm Kaylee Mesa and welcome back to my book channel. Today I have my quarantine summer reads. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I definitely took this quarantine time to dive in and just read a bunch of books. I'm pretty proud of myself with how many books I actually read. My stack isn't as big as most people's, but I'm really proud of myself. All right, let's get into it. Full disclosure, my brain cut out while making this video and I became a dumbass that forgot so much. I blame it on 3 hours of sleep, but don't worry, I'll correct myself. Also, I'm outside, so sorry for any outside noises. Alright, back to the video. The first book I have to show you is War Storm by Victoria Aveyard. Now, this is the 4th book in the Red Queen series, so definitely don't pick this book up if you have not read the other 3 books. In this series, there are 2 types of people, silver blood and red blood. Silver bloods have supernatural abilities, powers, and red bloods, they have nothing. They're just regular humans. And in this society, silvers are the upper class, while red bloods are second-class citizens. We follow our main character, Mare, who one day in an accident at the palace finds out that she has lightning abilities. But the catch is, she's a red blood. So the silver royal family takes her in and pretends that she is this long lost silver from one of their houses while they try to figure out the mystery of Mare. And that's all I'm gonna say about that, because I forget, like in the timeline, I don't remember which events happened in the first book, second book, third book. It's all kind of jobbled. This was actually a series that I put down for a while because I picked up Red Queen when it first came out, I believe in 2015. Then I read the second book. And then the third I kind of stopped at because Mare was in such an awful position I couldn't read, like it physically hurt me. So I put the book down for like 2 years and then I picked it back up and then I finally picked up the last book and finished the series. I really enjoyed it, even though it did take me a while to read. It does deal with a lot of heavy topics. If you're into politics, fighting against a corrupt system, fighting against inequality, revolution, I'd really recommend you picking up the Red Queen series. The next book I have to show you is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. Oh my gosh. This book, y'all. This is one of my favorite reads of the summer. Of the whole year, let's be honest. There aren't too many books where I can sit and I'm completely immersed into the story where I can't stop reading. And this was one of them. I am so excited for Blood and Honey, the second book, which comes out September 1st. So, pick this baby up because the second book's about to get out, so get on it. We follow our 2 main characters, Lou and Reed. Lou is a witch in hiding in a society where witches are killed, and Reed is a chasser, which are men sworn to the church who kill witches. In an unfortunate event at a theater, Lou and Reed are forced to get married, and this story follows their love and everything that follows with it. I fucking loved everything about this. The characters were amazing. The storyline was amazing. The dialogue, amazing. Everything was amazing. Loved it. I'd highly recommend you picking up this book. And also, look at that fucking cover. Like, ooh. The third book I have to show you is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This was amazing. This is Leigh Bardugo's first adult novel, and she really took it there. Yale has 8 secret societies. From the outside, they just look like regular societies filled with rich kids and rich alumni, but in reality and behind the scenes, they are dealing with dark magic. And the Leith, the 9th house, is there to regulate all 8 houses and make sure that they are following the rules of magic as well as being safe. Our main character, Alex Stern, is a high school dropout, and she is in an unfortunate accident where all of her friends have been murdered and she's the lone survivor. And then one day she wakes up in her hospital bed and the dean of the Leith is sitting next to her, offering her a position in the Leith and a full ride to Yale. But why? Why her? There's nothing about her that screams Ivy League material. If you're into mystery and supernatural thrillers, I'd highly recommend picking up this book. It was beautifully told. It was a mystery because the story is not told in a linear timeline. You have to really pay attention and put the puzzle pieces together where each event happens. It was great. It was amazing. I'm so excited for what she has next in this series. And according to Leigh Bardugo, she wants this series to be 5 or 7 books. and I'm here for it. Give it to me. The next book I have to show you is Again But Better by Christine Riccio. Now, I'm pretty sure if you guys are familiar with the booktube universe and community, Christine is a very huge YouTuber, and she released her novel last year. I read it, and oh my goodness, it was adorable. It was a really good debut novel. Shane has been doing college wrong for the last 2.5 years. She has made no friends, she goes home almost every weekend, and there's not a scratch of romance in her life. When an opportunity comes for her to start college fresh and anew, she takes it. A study abroad program to London. If you were given a second chance, would you take it? This book was great. I loved it. I laughed. I cried. I don't know, it was such a good read, especially since I am a college student, and I could empathize with what Shane was going through. If you're a college student and you're feeling lonely or you're feeling as though you're doing it all wrong, I'd highly recommend picking up Again But Better. It is really cute, really sweet, really like, oh my goodness, kind of like secondhand embarrassing, but in a good way. I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I finally picked it up. It's been on my TBR for such a long time since it came out. I forgot to mention how much this book made me miss traveling. Shane and her friends travel to different parts of Europe, and it's beautiful, and oh my gosh, yeah, so if you're also into traveling, also pick this book up. I can't believe I forgot. Next book I read is You Should See Me in a Crown by Leigh Johnson. We follow Liz Leigh, whose plan has always been to attend Pennington College on an orchestra scholarship. When the scholarship falls through, all of her plans seem to shatter right in front of her, until she remembers the winners of prom, the king and queen, are given a scholarship that would make her dreams of going to Pennington College come through. Liz, who hates attention, is willing to do anything to get to Pennington, even allowing the school to know that she exists. Such a cute novel, and it's not long either. You can fly through it. If you're into high school books surrounding prom, I'd highly recommend picking this book up. And also, Liz deals with her identity as being a Black woman. It's just such a sweet read. I would highly recommend picking this baby up. Did I forget to mention this book's gay? Alright, let me repeat that. This book is gay. G-A-Y, gay. Alright, let's continue. Next book I read is I Wish You All the Best by Mason Deaver. This book follows Ben, who is non-binary, who just came out to their parents, and their parents kick them out. They're forced to live with their sister Hannah and start their second semester of senior year in a whole different high school. It follows the journey that Ben takes with their identity and with this boy named Nathan. As someone who is non-binary, this book really hit home. There was so much stuff that I related to that I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not the only one that feels like that. I believe this book was really, really important, especially for the LGBTQ+ community, but also for non-binary people like myself. So if you are non-binary, or if you want to read more about other characters who don't identify as cis, I'd highly recommend picking up I Wish You All the Best. Next book I have to show you is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. Oh my gosh! This book was one of my top reads of the summer and of the year. I love gay romances. And this was a gay romance, honey. Alex's mother is the first female president of the United States. Her family is cast as the royal family of America. There's just one problem. Alex has actual rivalry with the prince from Great Britain, Henry. When the tabloids get a hold of a photo of Henry and Alex's altercation at Henry's brother's wedding, both of their countries' reaction take a turn for the worst. So the royal family and the president come up with a plan to make it seem as though they are friends, and that the accident was just an accident and not an act of rivalry. So the two men create a fake relationship for the paparazzi and the tabloids. Soon Alex and Henry's fake relationship turns into something real, and it turns into romance that neither expected, and one that could destroy themselves and their countries. What happens when America's first son falls in love with the Prince of Wales? Oh my gosh, highly recommend picking it up. I don't even need to tell you why. Pick it up. It was good. Again, one of the few books where I was completely immersed into the story and I couldn't put it down. Literally, I would get up in the middle of the night because I'm like, what happens? What happens? And so I literally got up 3 a.m., turned on my little lamp, and just was reading this book. I love this book. Pick it up, please. You won't be disappointed. Warning, if you're not comfortable with a lot of sexy time and intimacy, then this book might not be to your liking. Just a little warning. Next book I have to show you is Cinderella is Not Dead by Kalynn Bayron. Is dead. Cinderella is dead. I'm a colossal dumbass. Cinderella has been dead for 200 years now, but the fairy tale lives on. In this society, girls are forced to attend a ball where suitors choose them, and if they are not chosen by suitors, they are never heard from again. Sophie, our main character, does not want a male suitor and would rather marry her childhood best friend, Eric. Aaron! At the ball, Sophie makes a drastic decision where she is forced to flee and hide in Cinderella's mausoleum, where she meets Constantine, the last known descendant of Cinderella. And Sophie finds out that the fairy tale of Cinderella she's been hearing her whole life is a lie. Sophie and Constantine both vow to bring the king down, and in the process they learn more about the tale than ever known before. I personally love fairy tale retellings. I do. They're really enjoyable, especially since we all know the basis of the story, so seeing the twists is really cool. I thought the idea of this book was amazing. It deals with women being treated as second-class citizens, only having rights through their husband, not having rights of their own. It deals with propaganda, and overall a terrible society for women. This book was also gay. You think as a queer person I'd remember to put these facts in. Now, I thought the idea of this book was great. It was amazing. I did not believe it was executed very well. The first half of the book, I was really into it. I enjoyed it. The second half felt very rushed to me, and the writing didn't seem very consistent in the pacing. But I still did enjoy the book. It wasn't my favorite, but I did enjoy the overall idea, and I did have a good time reading it. If you are a big fan of fairy tale retellings, especially Cinderella, I'd pick it up, and the cover is gorgeous. Next book I have to show you is The Miracles of the Namia General Store by Kigo Higashino. 3 young men find themselves in this abandoned general store where they are staying in the night trying to hide away from the cops. Throughout the night, letters start to drop through the mail slot in the general store. In the letters, people are asking for advice. Over the course of a single night, as the boys start responding to the letters, they start to realize the letters are coming from the past. I really enjoyed this book. It was a really great read, and it was short. It was a feel-good book. The storyline is very interwoven, where it's not linear at all, but it's beautifully interwoven where you're able to see where in the timeline things take place. I'd highly recommend this book if you're into intellectual storyline weaving, day-to-day life, and a little touch of magic. This cover is so cute, and it's so small. Like, I don't think you guys realize how small this book is. Like, you see that? You see how small it is? It's like a perfect, like, in your hand kind of like pocketbook kind of thing. And the last book I read this summer was Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer. I don't think I need to say anything about this book, but for those of you who don't know, this is Edward's point of view throughout all the events that happened in the first book, Twilight. And for those of you wondering, no, this isn't anything new. This is the same timeline as Twilight, and it doesn't extend past the Twilight timeline either. It doesn't go into the second book or before the first book. It stays in Twilight. If you want to know more about the book and more spoilers, check out my book discussion that I just did. You can find the link somewhere up here. Those are all the books that I read this summer during quarantine. 10 books in total. I know that's not a huge number compared to a lot of people, but I was really proud of myself, especially since I do have a full-time job, and being able to juggle that and reading for pleasure, it made me happy. Thank you so much for watching, and if there are any of these books that you read this summer, let me know. All my social medias will be down below, and if you enjoyed this video and want to see more, hit that subscribe button. If you want, you don't have to, but you can. I'm Kaylee Mesa. Thanks so much for watching. Bye! Oh, no! Oh, shit.